myself. My name is Affiz. I'm representative for Malaysia under the DHL Fulfilment Network. I was in fulfillment for about 10 years now. So I'm covering for Malaysia, Indonesia, and also Singapore. Okay?
Yeah, hi, my name is Thorsten Mendel. I'm working since 18 years already in the supply chain industry. 7.5 of these years I spent at DHL supply chain. And we have a very exciting topic here today for you guys about scaling globally fulfillment with confidence. So the entire topic will be around why fulfillment really matters and why global fulfillment matters and what are the challenges of achieving this. To really holistically look at this topic, we'll start a little bit forward. We have a look at some e-commerce trends together. We have a look at some challenges together that are present in nowadays e-commerce. And of course, we brought you as well a case study in the end to fill this entire thing with a bit more of life and how we have overcome these challenges. So we'll start a little bit with the challenges of e-commerce nowadays. And we start the challenges, though, with something very positive, the growth in e-commerce market. So we can see that in the past years, we had a solid CAGR of 14% in e-commerce growth. And this has done through the COVID crisis and afterwards has now stabilized, has come down a little bit. We are at the moment looking at around 9.8%, and now in this year we're expecting around 8.6% of global growth in e-commerce. Though this trend is slowing down a little bit and stabilizing after the volatility passed, we are crossing a very, very important threshold this year, which is the $5 trillion global e-commerce spend. No? There we go. This is all due to the market penetration, of course, of the internet nowadays, and people shop everywhere and they want to have availability of their products cross-regional and at any time through any channel. To do so, we see existing trends continuing, such as hybrid commerce, social commerce, and hyper-personalization. Some other trends have faded away, such as same-day delivery became a little bit as a weaker trend at the moment. And we see new trends rising up, like artificial intelligence, and people actually using this to make their purchase decision and shop online. In this, there's, of course, a change now in the expectations of the consumer as well. And this has to do, of course, with a further globalization and availability of goods all around the world. This adds, though, what we call the complexity here in supply chain. So the internet, of course, is now available to more users than ever, and it keeps on penetrating, especially emerging markets. This drives the global growth and increased consumer demands for these products everywhere they are. So we just had some chats already today with some of you where you say, hey, someone was in a certain country, has shopped for something, and well, then he goes home to his original country and he still wants to purchase the exactly same good. So the global availability of all goods becomes a more precedent requirement of the market. This adds, of course, complexity for supply chain and stresses supply chain as such. So the complexity comes then, can be regulatory parts, can be the fulfillment costs, delivery times, stretching supply chains. So to do this, more and more customers need to find a strategic fulfillment framework. So you need to weigh off, do I want to be present in a country and invest into these topics, being present at the respective country, or do I want to go for trends like drop shipping, for example, which comes with another trade-off. Finding the balance between being local and going cross-border is, of course, a challenge for organizations, and to take this weighted decision is of essence. And then when you scale up then these networks, this is not just about shipping the product, but it addresses really the optimization as well of costs and of service reliability, because the consumers are expecting a homogeneous service worldwide, no matter where they shop and which channel they use for shopping. And of course, this needs to go then with a consistent customer experience as well worldwide. Now the clicker wants to work. So, but now the really important question after setting a little bit the scene around the global e-commerce is, why is global fulfillment such an important trend nowadays? So this section will treat a little bit on how traditional fulfillment models fall short and why global fulfillment is so important and offers new and resilient opportunities for winning more business. So this is The slide has a lot of content, and I'm happy to take you a little bit through it. So first of all, why the fulfillment became so important has to do with the fact it's a buyer's market. Consumers can choose, no matter where they are, the product that they want, and they have availability. The question is, how good can you satisfy these demands and these fulfillments? So it has to do as well, of course, with your reputation of spreading the product into these markets, and to drive fulfillment. A good fulfillment offers you the opportunity to create repetitive sales and retain customer. So fulfillment turns more from just a last mile and a warehousing fulfillment opportunity into a customer retention machine. A good supply chain helps you to keep your customers loyal to your brand. And as this growth is very unevenly happening globally, we see, of course, countries, let's say, more stably growing. Yeah, you see there's Germany, there's France, there's Japan, all hovering around the 5% of annual growth. And then you have markets, of course, here in Southeast Asia, like in this case Thailand or Indonesia, with a plus 20% growth and a rapid potential for all your brands to sell to these customers. So we want to be very, very close to these markets, obviously. And the challenge is, especially in these markets, you want to have lower last mile fulfillment costs. You cannot ship from the US into Indonesia, for example, and have a competitive rate. Additionally, you fall into more and more regulations. We see actually a decrease of availability of easy tax options and free amounts that you can ship into countries. We see everything that has happened lately in the global trade laws. So local fulfillment offers you a very resilient way of delivering your product to the customer in a very consolidated manner. And of course, when you're closer to the customer, you can offer other services as well, such as easier returns. And as I'm German, though, I really wanted to keep it just for a few numbers. Yeah, so I'll try my very best, though. But I brought a few numbers for you that I didn't have here on the slide, though, that I find very, very important for your success in these markets. 59% of the global shoppers buy now international. So people have that expectation of finding their desired product no matter where they are. They have been maybe in Korea on vacation and found a nice face cream. They are now living in Australia to find the same face cream again. This is just an example of how customers have a global expectation of finding their desired products back again. 62% expect a delivery between 2 and 3 days. So I'm a frequent shopper here as well in Singapore, right? If we shop on the common marketplaces, we feel how they fall short in being able to deliver this promise, because they deliver from China, from other markets into local regional markets. So being closer to the customer is fulfilling the expectation and is enabling, of course, additional easier services. So that leads as well to 23% of consumers abandoning shopping carts when the delivery time is too long or delivery options are too costly. And the last two numbers, just to be a little bit on the positive side, coming to the end of the number session, is of course that 70% of the global carts get abandoned, though 92% of buyers confirm that if the customer, that the supplier is able to deliver faster products with a cheap but consistent last mile option to them, they would shop again at the same web shop. So that's a real enabler for retaining business for yourself. And with this, I hand over to... You have to press a little harder sometimes, the button doesn't quite work.
Okay. So now we understand the trend of the market and why we have to go into the global business. And let's see how to go into the global business from DHL side of this. So there are 4 pillars that we come up with that is very suitable or very accurate for a local business to go globally. So we have to look at customer experience standardization, which is to standardize the customer experience globally to make sure that they have the best experience and can build trust to your business. Number 2, we have to look at the partner ecosystem to build the stronger partner ecosystem, provide flexibility and also local expertise to quickly adapt to the local market, which we are not sure probably, right? Because we are going into the new business, we have to adapt to the market itself. Number 3, we have to optimize our logistic flows, basically to leverage on our multi-modal transportation and to place on the strategic warehouse location. It will be very cost effective. So this is the most crucial one that we came up with. And the one that we have to make sure that we know how the market is going, how the process is going, is to make sure that we have full visibility on the data. So to get the real-time information, to get most accurate inventory, to get the most accurate data is the most crucial for our business. Okay? So the solution that we can provide from under the DHL Group is, the reason why we are called the DHL Fulfillment Network is because we are over 41 countries. Okay? So we streamline our operation, we standardize our operation, our IT, so we have one point of contact or one point of integration that we're able to do, which means you will have only one system that you are able to see for all the markets that you went into. So it will be quite easy, quite convenient for you to understand, to see all the data, to see all the process, everything under one place. Okay? And we have to make sure that we understand how the locker is, how does it work, the compliance, how to do the shipping, the tax, everything will be handled by our side. And for us to make sure that the robust management, return management is suitable enough or standardized enough for everyone, every location to be managed. Okay? So after all of this, we are trying to introduce or share with you one of the case study that we have with our current customer. So let's go with Thorsten again.
Thanks, Affiz. So now you heard about it from us as well, just as a little recap. We talked about the challenges, we talked about the rapid expansion growth in e-commerce. Affiz gave us a nice rundown of what's possible from a solution side of things. But now we have to fill this entire thing with a little bit more life to make it a little bit more present, right? So brought here a real case study. We cannot disclose the customer's name, but I think the situation may resonate with many of you. So this customer has a white label product. They would like to provide it worldwide to customers within 48 hours. So that, again, goes back to the 2 to 3 day customer experience. They want to be on top of that, so they want to have 48 hours of delivery time. They don't want to build up complexity, right? They want to have a solution, and they want to focus essentially on selling their product, not on creating a huge supply chain organization and so on. They want to focus on the marketing side of things. They want to focus on selling, enabling, finding new partners in their ecosystem. So they want to have essentially one solution that gets the product to the customers worldwide. Additionally, the product itself has certain requirements that drive them into the situation that they cannot fulfill from other countries into these countries, but you need to locally fulfill and sell through a local entity these products. So consequentially, before, there were no sales in certain countries because they simply couldn't fulfill these requirements. The customer experience, especially around returns and shipping to them, fell short. Yeah, because on a global long stretch supply chain on drop shipping, it really impacted negatively their sales. So they hardly could compete in these markets with other companies and really had a tough time. And then we sit down together with them, and of course there's a happy end for this customer. And the customer really partnered up with us, and we started with analyzing where you want to be, what you need to be in global fulfillment. So you need to be present in respective markets. So we enabled for this customer 24 sites in a DHL Fulfillment network, and every 4 to 6 weeks we went live with one warehouse after another, creating them in less than 2 years a global coverage and enabling their sales to thrive around the world. By doing so, at the moment, we are looking at around 2.5 million to 5 million orders that they are delivering. This all happened with the one standard integration that we offered. It was really them calling us saying, hey, we want to sell now in Brazil. We was like, okay, give us 4 weeks, you can start selling in Brazil. And if you have these global ambitions, and if you want to be local, be a global company but sell local, this solution really, really offered the significant and strategic benefits for them by a centralized management as well. So you don't have to worry about 24 different points of escalation, but you want to have one customer service network that takes care of your matters, no matter where they occur. So for this customer, really, the KPIs in the end turned out very, very nicely with the strategic fulfillment option that we have delivered here, and the effectiveness of this is, of course, balancing of the customer experience versus the cost and efficiency, and of course, operational resilience, which is at the moment, sadly, as you saw before the announcement of another speaker not being able to speak here, resilience isn't a very important topic here as well. And if you adopt all of these things and you really create that holistically supply chain model and scale across the globe, really you can sell everywhere, fulfill customer requirements, and thrive in your numbers. So we kept a little time as well now for any Q&A. So if there's any questions from you on the case study or on the presented content, Affiz and I are more than happy to answer these.